Grab the popcorn and dim the lights. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 movies of all time.
Oh, what do I call you? Do you have a name?
Yes. Samantha.
For this list, we're looking at the greatest films ever, based on their entertainment value, iconic status, critical acclaim, and box office success. And action. Number 20, Mad Max: Fury Road. In today's blockbuster landscape, audiences are used to seeing movies with excessive CGI, overly complicated plots, and repetitive action.
How much more can they take from me? Got my blood, now it's my car!
Fury Road is the complete opposite, emphasizing practical effects and stunts, keeping the story as simple as possible, and putting so much thought into the composition of the action that individual stills could hang in a museum. While not exactly a sequel or a reboot, Fury Road takes the best aspects from George Miller's previous Mad Max films and pushes them into overdrive. The best way to describe the film is the climactic chase of the road warrior sustained for 2 hours. Although that sounds incredibly straightforward, the film's emotive characters, inventive production values, and high-octane direction set a new standard for the genre.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
Number 19, No Country for Old Men. Picking up on the themes of their previous films, the Coen brothers faithfully adapt this Cormac McCarthy novel.
I got under control.
When a man finds a motherlode of cash after a drug deal goes sour, he becomes the target of a compassionless assassin. We watch as this monosyllabic hitman plows through all that gets in his way as he hunts the money down.
With you gone and I don't have the money, he can't touch me, but I can sure touch him.
It's an Academy Award-winning case of cat and mouse, masterfully executed at the hands of the Coen brothers, which they later followed with the also astonishing but quite different Inside Llewyn Davis. Number 18, Apocalypse Now.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
With cinema legends like Martin Sheen, Robert Duvall, and Marlon Brando in the lead roles, Apocalypse Now crackles with scene after scene of horrifically and masterfully executed death and destruction. Based on Joseph Conrad's 1899 novella Heart of Darkness, Francis Ford Coppola's gritty, Oscar-nominated war epic moves the action of the novella from the Belgian Congo to Vietnam in the 60s. The story follows a group of soldiers tasked with assassinating a rogue colonel.
Horror has a face, and you must make a friend of horror. Horror and moral terror are your friends.
But the result is less a journey about the horrors faced during wartime, and more about the shadows of the soul. Number 17, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
The way I figure, there's really not too much future with a sawed-off front like you.
Building upon A Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More, director Sergio Leone delivered what is now considered by many to be the most epic Western ever made. When it first hit theaters, however, this irrefutable classic received a mixed reception due to its stylized violence.
When you have to shoot, don't talk.
Spaghetti westerns in general weren't seen as high art. Between Tonino Dellicoli's all-encompassing cinematography and Ennio Morricone's immortal musical score, though, this then unsung masterpiece influenced a generation of filmmakers, and eventually got its due. Craft aside, it's the characters that keep us coming back. Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef, and Eli Wallach make for one of the most distinctive trios in any medium, perfectly complementing each other with the good, the bad, and, of course, the ugly. Number 16, 12 Angry Men. Based on Reginald Rose's 1954 teleplay, 12 Angry Men is a tour de force of dialogue and character development.
I never knew they locked the door. Sure they locked the door. What you think?
As compelling as Rose's script is, it doesn't come off as especially cinematic on paper. After all, a majority of the action takes place in the confines of a jury room.
Brother, I've seen all kinds of dishonesty in my day, but this little display takes the cake.
This is where Sidney Lumet's brilliant direction comes in, along with Boris Kaufman's cinematography and Carl Lerner's editing. they make you feel the tension rising with each passing second. By the time the final verdict is reached, it's as if we've just gotten out of a sweatbox.
What do you know about her? I only know the woman's eyesight is in question now.
She had to be able to identify a person 60 feet away at night without glasses.
The film is only made better by an extraordinary ensemble, which consists of household names like Peter Fonda and some of the era's finest character actors. Number 15, There Will Be Blood. Brought to us by Paul Thomas Anderson, this drama follows prospector Daniel Plainview as he builds his empire during the Southern California oil boom.
If we decide to drill for oil, and if the well begins to produce, I'll give your church a $5,000 signing.
$10,000.
Do you want to find someone else that's going to come up here and drill, Eli? Make the investment and do all the hard work that goes into it?
While he's met with many speed bumps along the way, it's watching Daniel Day-Lewis portray the character's descent into greed and madness at the cost of all else that makes it a truly gripping watch. And for another stunningly gripping psychological drama, check out Anderson's 2012 The Master with Joaquin Phoenix. Both the character and Anderson's film are unyielding and ambitious, and both helped win Day-Lewis his second Oscar for Best Actor.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
Number 14, The Wizard of Oz.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
With L. Frank Baum's universally appealing story as its backbone, this Technicolor masterpiece transcends age and time to tell the coming-of-age story of a young Kansas girl who dreams of a land somewhere over the rainbow.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Though it's now considered one of the most iconic films in Hollywood history, Wizard was not commercially successful upon its release.
Come to see the Wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Here he is, a wizard of a wizard, ever a wizard there was.
However, its mix of timeless music, comedy, and a relatable moral has made this a film that all parents recommend to their children and enjoy watching with them.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Number 13, The Shawshank Redemption.
Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you ask.
You gonna fit right in.
Based on Stephen King's novella, The Shawshank Redemption follows a man as he's carted off to jail for his wife's murder. But rather than being a tale of despair and hopelessness, it's a story of fortitude, friendship, fidelity, and of course, redemption.
And that's how it came to pass, that on the second to last day of the job, the convict crew that tarred the plate factory roof in the spring of '49 wound up sitting in a row at 10 o'clock in the morning, drinking icy cold Bohemia-style beer.
With Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman working together to bring this story to life, this Frank Darabont film was not a runaway box office hit, but its positive reviews, eventual popularity, and 7 Academy Award nominations ensured its spot in cinema history.
I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
Number 12, Casablanca. Has any film given us more unforgettable lines than Casablanca? From
He's looking at you, kid.
to
What about us?
We'll always have Paris.
This film remains quotable even decades later because the characters are so identifiable. While the story is set during World War II, the real battle is the one raging within Humphrey Bogart's Rick. When the woman he loves re-enters his life, Rick finds himself torn between his nostalgia for the past and the sacrifice he must make to ensure a better tomorrow.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
Bogart and Ingrid Bergman's Ilsa share such natural chemistry that you want to see them live happily ever after. Casablanca isn't about what people want, however, but rather what people need, closing their love story out on just the right note.
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Number 11, Singin' in the Rain. While Singin' in the Rain was well-liked upon release, it wasn't until years later that audiences and historians came to recognize this musical as a true cinematic treasure.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain.
Many have praised its miraculous music and choreography, from Gene Kelly's iconic rendition of the titular song to Donald O'Connor's jaw-dropping performance of Make 'Em Laugh.
Make 'em roar, make 'em scream. Take a fall, but a wall split a seam.
Yet people sometimes overlook the fact that it's also a wonderful comedy. Taking place in late 1920s Hollywood, the film cleverly satirizes the end of the silent era and the dawn of the talkies.
And I can't stand him.
And I can't stand him.
And I can't stand him.
Can't.
Along the way, Jean Hagen steals every scene she's in as Lena Lamont, deservingly receiving an Oscar nomination.
You'd be taking her career away from her. People just don't do things like that.
People! I ain't people. I am a shimmering, glowing star in the cinema firmament.
This is a perennial feel-good movie, capable of casting a ray of sunshine on even the dreariest of days. Number 10, The Dark Knight.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Proving that superhero movies don't need to be filled with spandex and cheesy send-off lines, Christopher Nolan's second Batman film redefined the genre and impressed both comic book fans and the general public alike.
You'd leave a man's life to chance? Not exactly.
Dark, twisted, and deeper than the franchise's previous entry, and as dark, twisted, and deep as Nolan's later epic Inception, the story follows the Caped Crusader as he faces off against the infamous Joker, played by an electric Heath Ledger.
You won't kill me out of some misplaced sense of self-righteousness.
Though Ledger passed away before the film's release, he was awarded a posthumous Oscar for his work, which helps give Batman's story a gritty and realistic spin.
And why do you want to kill me?
I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you?
Number 9, Goodfellas. While some may credit Raging Bull as Martin Scorsese's career-defining achievement, we have to give that distinction to Goodfellas.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
What's so enthralling about Goodfellas is how it captures both the glamour and depravity that come with being a gangster.
You got some nerve standing me up. Nobody does that to me. Who the hell do you think you are? Frankie Valli or some kind of big shot?
Much like Henry Hill's wife Karen, we know that we should be repulsed by this lifestyle, but a part of us can't help but be attracted to it.
Anyway, you know what reminds me, I need this knife. I'm gonna take this, it's okay?
Okay, yeah,
I just need it for a
bring
little
it
while.
back though, you know.
Of course, the moment that best sums up the film is Tommy DeVito's funny how confrontation.
Well, I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you. I make you laugh.
Balancing black comedy and legitimate dread, the scene could turn ugly at the drop of a hat.
Just don't go busting my balls, Billy, okay?
Hey, Tommy, if I was gonna break your balls, I'd tell you to go home and get your shine box.
The same can be said about most of the scenes in this unpredictable roller coaster, keeping the audience on their toes every step of the way. Number 8, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Stanley Kubrick redefined the science fiction genre for a generation that had largely assumed it was just for B-movies. For a film without much dialogue, so much can be said about this visually arresting and intellectually stimulating magnum opus. In so few words, though, 2001 is about evolution. The film can essentially be broken up into 3 stages. The first predates humankind as we know it, centering on hominids discovering the first tool. The second takes place millions of years later, exploring how our greatest technological advances could also be our downfall.
Look, Dave. I can see you're really upset about this.
The third is about the next step in evolution, although it's never made clear what this is. However you interpret it, 2001 will always be an absorbing journey into the unknown. Number 7, The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. Completing the iconic trilogy initiated back in 2001, Peter Jackson's opus The Return of the King splits its epically long runtime between Aragorn and his men battling Sauron's army, and Frodo's journey to Mount Doom to destroy the One Ring.
Look, Mr. Frodo. That doorway. We're almost there.
Thanks to these 2 running plots, we get a heady mix of heavy violence and delicate storytelling that's been called one of cinema's great achievements. By closely mirroring J.R.R. Tolkien's stirring and beloved novel, this movie gives fanboys and fangirls something to shout about. The Academy was equally impressed, awarding the picture a record-tying 11 Oscars.
My friends.
You bow to no one.
Number 6, Pulp Fiction. Is this film driven by its standout performances? Yes. Is it driven by its extreme violence? Of course. But more than that, Quentin Tarantino's Oscar-winning Pulp Fiction is driven by subtle, articulate, and pop culture-heavy dialogue.
This is a tasty burger. Vincent, you ever had a Big Kahuna burger?
The non-linear plot follows an interwoven group of colorful characters in intricate detail. With such dark humor, you will laugh in spite of yourself.
Go make yourself a drink and I'll be down in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
With a soundtrack that perfectly punctuates the mood and sound bites you'll be quoting for years, Pulp Fiction has everything necessary to make you watch it over and over again.
You're the weak, and I am the tyranny of evil men. But I'm trying, Ringo. I'm trying real hard to be the shepherd.
Number 5. Schindler's List. Steven Spielberg aspired to shoot this historical drama as if it were a documentary. The result may be the most immersive and horrifying depiction of Nazi Germany ever put to film.
You need to convince him you have a trade, something valuable to the war effort. Like what? I'm a musician. What if you don't? Your name goes on the list?
Schindler's List demonstrates how black and white cinematography can feel more authentic than color.
I think you are drunk.
That's power, Ammon. That is power.
It breaks humanity down to its basic components, allowing us to see the evil in the world that many turned a blind eye to. When color does briefly enter the picture, it provides both a glimmer of hope and a gut punch of guilt. Schindler's List is not only a reminder of the lives lost, but also that one person can make a difference.
I threw away so much money. You have no idea. If I just...
There will be generations because of what you did.
The film would finally bring Spielberg the Oscar Gold for Best Director and Best Picture. Number 4. Star Wars Episode 5: The Empire Strikes Back.
The Force is strong with him. The son of Skywalker must not become a Jedi.
While the first film in George Lucas's Star Wars saga was a fun space adventure, the second is much darker and more emotional.
Luke, don't give in to hate. That leads to the dark side.
Strong is Vader. Mind what you have learned. Save you again.
I will. Considered by many as the strongest of the 3 original films, Empire is not only a feast for the eyes, with its expensive and extravagant visuals, it's also a timeless story to which we can all relate. Aside from the distant planets, lightsabers, and alien creatures, that is.
He told me you killed him. No. I am your father.
Not true. That's impossible.
Innovative and creative, this chapter in the life of Luke Skywalker and friends is epic filmmaking at its finest. Number 3. Psycho.
Dirty night.
You have a vacancy?
Oh, we have 12 vacancies. 12 cabins, 12 vacancies.
There are few scenes as memorable and influential as Alfred Hitchcock's shower incident, with its many cuts, many angles, and subtle hints of violence and nudity. But to downplay the rest of Psycho would be fatal. This thriller is Hitchcock's masterwork. Critics were initially divided in their opinions on the film, but Psycho eventually earned 4 Oscar nominations.
You wouldn't be made a fool of, would you?
But I'm not a fool.
Well,
and I'm not capable of being fooled, not even by a woman.
Shifting the norms of acceptable on-screen violence and sexuality, this movie surprised everyone who saw it. But even if you know the secrets of Psycho, it is as terrifying as ever. Number 2. Citizen Kane. It's a wonder that a first-time director was able to cobble together what is now considered one of the greatest films ever made. But with Citizen Kane, Orson Welles did exactly that.
Is that really your idea of how to run a newspaper?
I don't know how to run a newspaper, Mr. Thatcher. I just try everything I can think of.
Welles co-wrote, directed, produced, and starred in this film, which tells the life story of a wealthy media mogul, mostly through flashbacks.
You're gonna get more than one lesson. Don't worry about me, Geddes.
Don't worry about me! I'm Charles Foster Kane!
To create his Oscar-winning masterpiece, Welles employed innovative and groundbreaking cinematic and storytelling techniques, creating a layered film that appeals to both cinephiles and the general public alike. Crazily enough, people pretty much forgot about it soon after its release, until a re-evaluation in the 50s shook everyone back to their senses.
If you could have found out what that rosebud meant, I bet that would have explained everything.
No, I don't think so. No. Mr. Kane was a man who got everything he wanted and then lost it. Maybe Rosebud was something he couldn't get or something he lost.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Back to the Future, an adventure with everything: humor, romance, action, and of course, time travel.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
The Social Network. Who knew a movie about Facebook would be this thrilling?
$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool? You.
$1 billion. That shut everybody up.
On the Waterfront, still a contender.
Well, I had some bets down for you. You saw some money.
You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody.
12 Years a Slave, a brutal but brilliant look into a dark past.
I went to Master Shaw's plantation.
You admit it?
Yes, freely. And you know why? I got this from Mrs. Shaw. Mrs. Epps won't even grab me no soap to clean with. I stink so much I make myself gag.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, an unforgettable experience. At least, we hope so.
We've had time for this! Oh, God!
I don't even know where we're going.
Oh, it's gonna be fun, come on. It's the best place, no, this way.
Parasite. We laughed, we gasped, we gripped our armrests, and we're still thinking about it.
그래서 요 앞에 앉아서 다송이가 케이크를 막 먹다가
소리에 막 내가 막 뛰어내려와 보니까 애가 완전히 막 눈알이 이렇게 막 뒤로 바들바들 경기를 거품을 물고.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, The Godfather.
Fredo, you're my older brother, and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again. Ever.
Shedding light on the mafia world like few films before or since, the Best Picture-winning Godfather follows the Corleone family as the reins of the business are passed from Don Vito to his son, Michael.
What are you gonna do? Nice college boy, huh? Didn't want to get mixed up in the family business? Huh? Now you want to gun down a police captain, why, because he slapped you in the face a little bit? Huh? What do you think, this is the army where you shoot him a mile away?
In this film and its 1974 sequel, Francis Ford Coppola crafts a world that allows us to care for and even identify with men who are fundamentally bad guys. And virtuoso performances by greats like Brando, Pacino, and Duvall elevate the subtle writing and graphic violence to make The Godfather a truly great film.
Talk about vengeance. Is vengeance gonna bring your son back to you? Or my boy to me?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.